Good afternoon. I am George Anderson, one of the associate editors of America Magazine. I'm here with you today to share a little reflection about a remarkable French Jesuit, one of the so-called Jesuit, North American Jesuit martyrs, Jean de Brebeuf, who is connected with Christmas in that he wrote a Huron Carol. That Huron Carol came out of his work with the Huron Indians, a rather peaceable group in the general Ontario area of Canada. And when he came over, he applied himself very strongly to being able to understand and to write the language. In fact, he's credited with writing the first Huron dictionary. But during a time of convalescence, in an illness, he wrote this carol. And it has the traditional elements in it of Jesus' birth with Mary and the wise men and the star and the light that are usual there, but he does it in the Huron language. In fact, I'm told that there will be a link to a song that you may be able to listen to. I should mention, too, that he wrote about his work with the Hurons in the Jesuit Relations. We have a complete copy. I don't know how much you can see of this, but a complete copy of this remarkable story. And Relations is used in the sense of story, a relating of what they were doing. All the Jesuits in that mission had to write to their superiors every year to say what was going on, what they were doing. And he talks about his work among the Hurons, and it's quite touching to read about back in France, all the Jesuits, young Jesuits, were very anxious to come over to join in this mission, a very difficult one, and it was well known to involve great hardships. So that was part of the story, too. What happened then in the 1640s, when he was there, in that area of Canada, the Iroquois, who were great enemies of the Hurons, attacked the Huron encampment where de Brebeuf was, and they captured him and another Jesuit and tortured them to death so severely that, of course, they died. But they were impressed, the captors, the Iroquois, were impressed by his courage. He never cried out in the midst of his agonies. And they were so impressed that after he died, they cut out his heart and ate that, which was a traditional thing to do among the Iroquois at that time. His bones were then stripped of flesh after his body. The two bodies were found and are now in the Jesuit Martyr Church in Canada and can be visited today. It's curious that in the context of his death that occurs not too long after he wrote the hymn, there is a connection, at least in my mind, between the birth of Jesus and the death of Jesus. And Renaissance painters were frequently making references to this in their portraits of Mary with the child. There is one by Raphael de Medano Cardellino that shows Jesus, the child Jesus, in his mother's arms with St. John the Baptist next to him. And the Baptist is holding a little bird, and we say, what is this bird? And it turns out that the bird is a goldfinch, which, according to legend, fed on thistles to remind us that we would be the crown of thorns that Jesus would wear someday. So that connection, although not certainly in the mind of Jean de Brebeuf, but certainly in our own minds, we try to relate the fact that Jesus' birth and Jesus' death are, in a sense, a unit. And for that reason, we celebrate the first martyr's death, St. Stephen's death, the day after Christmas. So that link goes right through our understanding who Jesus was and what he did for us, his death and resurrection. So thank you for listening, and we hope you will look up some of those links that will be connected with this video.